I'm gonna try to do my hosty thing. What's up?
What's up?
Let's go. All right. Vegas Around Town. This is the show where we go around and talk to amazing people in Las Vegas. And one of my favorite friends here in Las Vegas is an amazing person, Richelle Mejia from the Mejia team, rock star realtor, top producing realtor, right?
Top producing. Well, I give more
3
credit
years.
to my sister, but
I mean,
Hey, we
dynamic
make a
duo, right?
yeah, true.
I love it. I love it. She is one of the faces of the roller skating community here in Las Vegas. Former Derby girl. Is
Roller
that
derby?
Roller Derby? Sin City?
Sin City Roller Girls.
Sin City Roller Girls. And fun little fact that I kind of find amusing. Her uncle is Geraldo Mejia, Rico Suave.
Rico Suave, Gerardo Mejia.
Gerardo Mejia. For those of you just listening, she's wearing her Rico Suave coffee t-shirt, which we'll get into a little bit later because he's now selling amazing coffee. I actually tried his coffee. It was pretty good. So, Richelle, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I
Yes.
actually saw that in the last video. You said you only have the coolest of the cool people.
Coolest of the cool.
On
Yes.
the podcast.
And I'm like, who does cool things? I'm like, Richelle, like she's more busy than I am. Like, how do you even do that? Like, I feel like I'm a busy person. Mm-hmm. How do you like multitask? Are you just good at organizing your time?
You know, it's a task for me. Is that good?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay. I don't even know how.
We'll try and fix the mic. Yeah.
I'm a very task organized schedule person. So my job, it's funny to say, it's 9 to 5-ish, but yet I'm working all the time. Real estate doesn't sleep. So if I have to work at night,
Yeah.
or have to get up extra early in the morning or work in the weekends, I'm always doing that. And then I work around that to gym time, skate time, extra time for myself.
So you just plan it. You're just a good planner. Yeah. And just stick to the schedule. You're pretty disciplined too. Yeah.
I try to be.
I've noticed you are pretty like adamant about working out, eating healthy. Like you just are pretty, you're disciplined, you know, like you stick to it and you're consistent.
Yes.
So like hats off to that. Cause that's like my struggle is being consistent. Like I'm consistently inconsistent. And
Consistent with that.
but that there you go. Yes, I'm consistent with that. But let's go into like the Vegas part of things. Let's backtrack a little. How did you end up in Vegas? Are you originally from Vegas? I think you said you weren't, but I can't remember. So can you tell us that story? How did you end up in Vegas? Where are you originally from? Like, how did you end up in this city?
I love talking about Vegas because I absolutely love Vegas. I came from California, so
Cool.
97 is when my family arrived here. And we moved into a house right off of Sahara and Hualapai.
97. So that was like nothing. There's not a lot of stuff happening.
Right. So literally at the corner of Sahara and Hualapai, there was no Summerlin. So it was complete desert. You could see all the mountains. I knew nothing about Vegas. I think I was like 10 or 11 at the time.
Right. Yeah. And what part of California were you in?
Walnut.
Okay.
So when I tell people that, I'm like Diamond Bar.
I'm from
Chino,
California. Yeah.
Hills, you know, area. So
it's Los Angeles County.
Yeah. So,
or is that Riverside County? You don't even know. Yeah. Somewhere there. It's Southern California in the LA County-ish area.
now that I consider myself a Las Vegan because I feel like I grew up here, even though my younger years were in California. So,
it's funny. I had Stu, who was on the podcast before. We were like, how do we call a Vegas person? Is it vegan or vegan? Or it's Las Vegan?
Well, that's what I've always said.
Okay, cool.
I actually said if I ever opened up a vegan restaurant, which is not really my thing, it would be like Las Vegan.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Surprised no one's done that yet.
Yeah, you're right. All right. Well, put that down. Okay. So Walnut, California, 97, Vegas is empty. Like 30 years, you've just seen the city kind of grow.
Yes. I say that all the time, especially doing real estate. It was really neat to see that. I obviously didn't start doing real estate till, when was it? 2014.
Okay. Yeah.
So anytime before that, my sister's been in it for over 20 years now, I think. And so watching Vegas grow, loving Vegas, loving the lifestyle out here, the cost of living, like just the entertainment. Everybody wants to come here. It's like tourist city. And then getting into real estate as an adult, like it was really neat to see the transition and the growth.
Did you stay this whole time in Vegas? Like high school, elementary and all that stuff? Yeah.
Yep.
And then what do you do in that age for Vegas? Like what do you do in the desert? Do you just play and ride bikes in the desert or skate in the desert?
So I love Vegas because of the fact that even just around the corner here, Madhouse Coffee?
Yep.
So even something like that, I always say as an example, it's open 24 hours. Not everything's open 24 hours, but it's just like a lively state with no time frame.
Sure. Yeah. That's fun for a kid when there's just things going around. Yeah. At night. Yeah.
Right. And even as a kid.
And you're a night owl.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm a morning person, but I'm also a night owl, so it's a struggle.
For sure, yeah. That's why I'm like, how is this person at the gym again? Like, I just saw you partying at night and you're at the gym and skating. Like, where do you get this energy?
I try. Oh my gosh, it's hard.
Dang.
But I just feel like Vegas has so much to offer as far as Red Rock and hiking and gambling if you're into that, but endless restaurants, entertainment. It's not even all the way down to the strip. But me, somebody who roller skates and likes to be active.
Yeah, and I see you in the lake, Hoover Dam area, right? You go down there or Lake Las Vegas. Where do you do what is that thing called when you're on a boat and you're in the back just I see you do that too. How do you even function?
I feel like I've met so many cool people in the skate community. So a couple of my friends have these big old ramps in the backyard, and one of them has a boat. Actually, well, a few of our friends have boats.
Yeah.
And thankfully enough, because I can't afford a boat. But
Not yet.
They go not yet anyway. Yeah. But it's funny because they say, not to get off topic, but they say to own a boat like that, it's like owning another mortgage. So you better really think about
rough.
it.
Yeah.
But it's so fun. So we go out to Lake Mead. There's a few different marinas out there, and we wake surf, and it's
cool.
So fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that lake deep?
I've tried going down to see how deep it is, and it's pretty deep.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool. That's a huge lake. That's a huge lake. Yeah. And it's literally probably 35, 45 minutes away from a good, I would say from the strip.
35 minutes. Yeah.
That's not bad.
Everything in Vegas. That's another thing I love about Vegas. Coming from California, even though I was younger and I didn't drive at the time, it's literally anywhere you go. I don't think my GPS has ever been over 40 minutes.
I call it the mile a minute city. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's 20 miles. That's 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In LA, it's good luck. Yeah. What time is it? Basically is what you're going to ask, Yeah. That's cool. So you grew up in Las Vegas. How did you, how was it going to high school here? Were you a good student? Did you get in trouble a lot? Were you skating then?
I was not.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually sad I didn't find skating younger in my life, but maybe I just wouldn't have liked it at the time. I like to think, because I knew of the skater kids in school, but that wasn't me. And I had no interest in it.
Skateboarding was, Yeah.
I was a pretty good student. I was into theater a lot. So any type of theater, I think that's what really kept me in school. I loved theater. I wanted to be an actress at the time.
Yeah, you told me that you wanted to be an actress. Yeah. That's cool.
That was my thing in school all the way up until high school. And I did pretty well. I think the last year, I don't know if I want to get into the story, but
you don't have to.
There was a really stupid rumor. I'll make it short. A really stupid rumor that I accidentally started as a joke on the phone that I had died. And so the word got around to everyone in school. My theater teacher found out. She called my house. I had a bunch of people asking me, it was a simple thing where my sister was answering the phone, and I told my sister, I was like, oh, tell them to stop calling me. I was like, tell them I died. And it was just something
just off the cuff.
Off the cuff like that. And it turned into this big thing. So that cost me some friends.
Oh.
And
isn't that weird? You make stories like that up sometimes in high school. I think you just make things. I remember making weird stuff up for just no reason.
Yeah.
Just I think your imagination just takes a hold of you because you're in that mode of just making stuff up. But yeah, like people start random rumors too. That's just a weird thing that happens in your younger years.
Yeah.
Like even some of my nephews and nieces just like make stuff up. I'm like, I think it's just the imagination just running wild.
Yeah.
You know? So, so like, so I can see how you were in high school then.
Yeah.
Just you're creative, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, that costed me a lot of friends. So when senior year rolled around, because that was the summer before senior year, people were like, what happened? I heard this, da, da, da. Was it true? Obviously it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I literally didn't have any friends my senior year. Like, and I was
Right.
okay with that. It was kind of sad, but I got like straight A's that year.
There you go.
I graduated.
Wow. And then so did you go to UNLV for college?
No, I did do the community college, more theater classes, just
cool.
for fun.
Yeah.
I tried to do a film class, actually. Didn't get very far. I didn't have the equipment or the
I mean,
money
you know
for
how
it.
to edit. I see you edit your reels and stuff, and you like put music and like you understand like the concept of,
I want to get better at that, though. Like, seriously, just for my skate videos and entertaining myself.
No, I mean, you're doing a great job. I like you sync it up to music and all that stuff. So like I see your reels and they do well and you're editing like it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I would just, we can talk about it. Yeah, for sure. So, okay. So film geek into like
Theater,
actress, like and then what did you finish school in?
I didn't
go to college, but
I didn't go to college. Yeah.
Yeah.
I strictly did it for the fun of learning more theater, trying to do the film, getting more into that. And I think there was a moment in time where I'm like, okay, this is fun. I'm probably not going to pursue it because it's not making me any money.
Right.
Obviously,
Sure.
at the time. So I started working, and then job after job after job of customer service, banking. I wound up with my sister, and it was probably the best thing that ever happened as far as my work career.
Very cool. And your sister's Daniela Mejia. So there's two of you in the Mejia team, right?
Yes.
And she's
Best realtor of Las Vegas.
Hi, Daniela. So she was in it before, like she was already a realtor.
Yes.
Very cool. And then like how did that conversation just happen? You're just like, I'm tired. Yeah, walk me through that process. Like,
so my sister, it was kind of neat because looking back, I remember this was before she was involved with anyone. I believe at the time, I don't think she had anyone in her life before she got married and had a child. She would work all day.
Right.
And always on her phone, always at the office at night, but she loved what she did. Like she enjoyed it. She made good money.
This was early 2000s?
Probably earlier. Because, like I said, she's been in it for many years.
Yes.
So it's like when she was building up her career and making a name for herself, she was always working and she loved it.
Yep.
So to me, I'm like, I never thought of
I mean, she still loves it. I talked to her and she's just still super
passionate,
like enthusiastic about like helping people get in homes, you know? And it's like, that's a rare thing to see if you've been in an industry that long, you know? And you can see that she's pretty genuine about it too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So like what, so she was in it. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. It's very true. She's very passionate and I think linking us up together made the perfect team because of our personality differences and our how she's good with people and I'm good with the paperwork and you know I take that off her hands and she's the face of the team, you know. So long story short, I took a few jobs again, all in banking, customer service at the hotels.
So you were already in banking? Mm-hmm. So you were in the finance industry already, so you understood like sort of the transition was, how was that transition then?
Somewhat. I worked at Wells Fargo. I didn't do the banking side, but I did like the teller side. I loved that job. I was always just very good at like getting checklists done, customer service, sweet, like genuine, like getting easy stuff.
Sure.
You know, easy stuff for me.
I always think that like having a background in sales and customer service is pretty, like you need to do that in your younger years because that helps you set up to have relationships in like your career in the bigger picture type of stuff. Cause that's the stuff that actually matters. Like, you know, you can learn skills, but like people skills and talking to people skills and dealing with angry customer skills. That's problem solving skills. Yeah. That's cool. So let's fast forward So you've been in the real estate industry for a while and you've seen Vegas grow. Like 2022 now, the real estate industry, like I'm sure if anyone like pays attention, there's homes that are like, there's like flying off the shelf. Like sellers will put a home on on the market and it will sell in like a few hours even, right? Yeah. Like if it goes live on Zillow, I've seen people like there's those memes that it sells for like an hour, like 801 house listed, 805 sold. And that's like not far from the truth, right? Like, cause I'm in mortgage. I understand like the shortage of houses. Like explain like, how does that in your day to day? Like how is your day to day as a realtor?
Yeah, it's tough right now. Yeah. It's kind of neat when my sister is
like tough for buying. People for buying.
It's tough for buyers right now.
For buyers, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. My sister, it's kind of neat when she tells me, hey, we got our offer accepted, because all we're hearing is multiple offers.
Sure.
I have agents saying, I had 40 offers. Thank you so much for yours.
40 offers? Whoa.
Do you even imagine going through 40 different offers?
What seller wants to go through 40 like applications?
I wouldn't even want to go past 10. Like
that's a lot.
Yeah. It's just.
Do they even look at all of them?
I mean, I know that for us, I don't think we've ever had to deal with as many as 40 offers. We've had a lot. We've had to take the homes off of the market to just be able to do the paperwork and say, we're going over offers now. But we can't even, like, once you pass 10, it's like, do you even remember what's I
don't know. Yeah.
What more do you have to offer? But we kind of, I think agents roll with the market. Like my sister will always come to me and say, the market's changing and this is what we got to do now. This is what we got. So when your offer has to stand out, it's the cleaner you can make it, the better. You know, you don't just.
What does that mean for like, what does cleaner mean?
Good question. Yeah. So not just sending the offer as is, but making sure it's all filled out completely. That's professional, first of all. Second of all.
As far as like the buyer, right?
The agent.
Oh, the agent. Okay. Gotcha.
So the agent sending me an offer, it's like clean, have it complete, you know.
You're telling me there's a lot of that like there's like incomplete offers and like.
Oh yeah, there will be missing things. And you don't want to if you're dealing with multiple offers, you don't want to go back to the agent and say, hey, you forgot to enter the appraisal contingency, you know, or this or that. Yeah. So. Because
it's just sloppy. It's sloppy. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So aside
and you don't want to babysit because like. Why? It's not your job to do that. Yeah.
And you're already like busy with multiple offers and dealing with the other
50
agents. 50
offers that are happening. Wow.
But something clean would be clean.
And you do a lot of that because you handle like Daniela's more on the sales part, right? And then
negotiating
and you're on the contract documentation side, like making sure things go right with do you talk to the loan officer?
Yes, I talk to everyone. So all the people involved, which again, for people who don't know, it's, you know, the realtor deals with the other agent, the lender, the title company, the buyer, not so much the other client that the seller's representing, but in all that circle, you're communicating with everyone.
Gotcha.
A good, clean offer, like I was saying, would be a complete one, plus anything extra that you could put in the email, sale price, contingencies. You know, this much over appraisal. People are paying more for houses and over appraisal, as you know.
I can imagine like a lot of first-time home buyers that don't have good representation, like just end up heartbroken and stuff or frustrated. Or like I had a friend who was looking for like a year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he finally reached out to me and he's like, I need some help because he saw I got into a house first. And he's like, how'd you do that? I've been looking for a year. I'm like, what? Dude, that's like nuts, you know, like, and then I have another friend like in San Diego and he's kind of just asking me what's going on. And he's like, they're all like, everybody, I think my age, cause I'm in the early 40s.
Okay.
They're scared, like, because they see all these like multiple offers. They see cash buyers. They see like Wall Street investors. Yeah. Cause you watch the news and you see it like, and it's really hard to understand. And unfortunately I'm kind of in the business, so I can kind of talk through it like casually, but for a consumer, like you can't call a bank and go, hey, can you like advise me? Or like, you know what I mean? Most people just, it's transactional. So it's like, it's hard to know who to trust. And then you're Googling stuff and it's just like, then you're in this spiral of like, oh,
Do I do it?
do I do it? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
I see, because I have a few friends like reaching out to me, like,
wanting, but not
wanting
sure.
advice, and they're scared to like actually just go through it. And what I kind of understand is like you kind of almost have to just be a little bit more analytical about it, and like think about numbers like more so than anything, and like try not to think too emotionally. I know it's an emotional like transaction, investment, or whatever you want to call it, but it's almost, you kind of have to put that aside and like think about it like a strategy, you know, more so than anything. And
Make
like
it a goal with
for sure. Yeah.
action. It's almost like anything. It's funny that you're telling me that, because I think of that. I tell a lot of people when they're unsure or when they're asking or just kind of like getting curious about it, I go see a lender. Like, here's a lender, make a plan, go see what it is so that you can plan. If you don't first,
even like 2 years down the line, because like sometimes you don't understand, like there's like what I learned is like a cost to wait, right? Because like what you're saving for a $500,000 home is not going to be worth that anymore. So that's another thing I see. It's people don't understand that if they're waiting, that the market for the housing market goes up, and it's like you're saving, you can't save faster than the sale price of the house, and also what's the word I'm looking for? The inflation. Like just your money's is kind of just losing value. So that's another thing too. People are just like freaked out about that. So like as someone who's on the ground, how do you deal with that with your clients?
So, I mean, nobody kind of expected what's going on in the world with right now.
For sure.
The inflation thing. So I'm just thinking like a couple of years back when I talked to people, like I have a perfect example, a girlfriend that said that she's been talking to her husband over and over and over again about buying. And you know, what you could have planned 2 years ago to own a home a year later or two, let's just say, you know, it starts off with doing your research. If you just think, oh, I'm never going to be able to buy a house, and you don't take the steps to at least see, plan, try. What do you qualify for now? What do you have to save for now? Yeah, maybe you won't afford the bigger house, but you'll afford a house of your own instead of renting.
Yeah, you know? That's a good talk to have, because it's like kind of the tough love talk where you have to like, I think Bill and Stu had said, like, this is not going to be your dream house. Like, it's your start, it's your foot in the door to build equity and like not pay rent.
That's what I call the stepping stone
house.
The
stepping stone house. Yeah. That's good.
But I mean, it's all long-term too. If you know you're going to be here in Vegas I was reading an article where they said 3 to 5 years, give or take, you know.
What do you mean? Like to stay in the house?
To stay in a home.
Gotcha.
It's like, you know, rent versus buy. If you're going to be here 3 to 5 years, you know, you might want to look into maybe owning something.
Sure.
You know, because.
Sure. Okay. Like if you moved here, and I see what you mean for sure. Yeah. But it's a good way to look at it too, because like if, you know, like when you're renting, you're just paying someone else's mortgage, and it's like it's literally just an expense going out the door. So,
yeah.
Wow. And now, so where do you see Vegas in the next 5 years? Like, do you huge sports organization is coming out here? Like they're just building so many things, like MSG, Madison Square Garden's being built here, Resorts World. Like they're just not stopping, right? So how do you see the real estate industry going as far as the buyers and then sellers and then just like population? Like what do you think? Is it going to continue?
I wish I had a crystal ball.
Yeah, like this is the crystal ball moment. What do you think? We're not going to hold you to it.
Yeah, I would say what I'm hoping to see. In a sense, I wouldn't want to see Vegas overpopulate in the sense like California, but I love the city so much. I'm passionate about Vegas. Yeah. I live here. I love it here. I don't know if I'll ever move from here. So for me, I love seeing it grow. I love seeing new businesses, new restaurants, things just happening all around, not just on the Strip, you know. It's always going to attract the world. Like Vegas is just always going to attract the world. So I love watching it grow even more. And I hope I just love living here too. I love the cost of living. Hopefully that doesn't
For sure.
continue to
Yeah.
go up in the wrong direction.
A lot of locals are afraid, like everybody is from moving from California and then like our taxes are going to like replicate what's going to happen over there. I don't think it is because we have the casinos,
Yeah.
right? We don't have state tax. And a lot of if people don't know, like, because we have the casinos, that kind of offsets
Yes.
state tax, right?
Yeah.
But that's not going away.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Yeah,
right?
for
Somewhere.
sure. All right. Well, that's a really cool perspective on things for somebody who's been here so long. And, I'm a pretty new transplant. I moved here in 2016 and I'm the same way. It's been like a hidden gem, and I've lived in a third world country. I've lived in California. I've been in some random places, and Vegas is just like one of those like sleeper cities, and I continue to like it more and more.
Yeah.
The more that I find little things, it really seems boring at face value outside of the strip.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, this is cool. Like it's hard to describe.
It's a whole nother like world, like you said, away from the strip when you start to look at like local spots and restaurants and hangouts, and it's so fun.
Cause you can get crazy, but you can also be quiet. Like you can, you know what it is? It's like you're able to chill in your own house, in your own space. You're not crowded, but then you can go to a crowded area when you want to. It's kind of like the best of both worlds, right?
Yep.
Like, I like it.
It kind of has something for everyone.
For sure. So, yeah. Let's talk about your favorite thing. I know it's your favorite thing.
It is my favorite.
Roller skating.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did you get into it? How did you discover the roller skating community here in Vegas? We talked about it a little bit, but like expand on like how that happened.
So let's see, should we go back to the way beginning?
Sure.
So we'll do everything in a nutshell. So
cool.
Timeline wise, I was going through a separation in my marriage, and I found roller derby because I literally Googled roller skating in Las Vegas. I used to roller skate at Crystal Palace.
Okay. What's that? Like a roller rink?
A roller rink.
Okay.
Yeah. They still have one out here, and then Mayweather took over the Boulder City one.
Oh, cool.
And made it Skate Rock City. So that's another roller rink here.
Okay.
So long story short, got into Sin City Roller Girls, did that for 3 years.
So you Googled Sin City Roller Girls, which is a roller derby league.
Well, I Googled roller skating in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And I found Sin City Roller Girls, which I never heard of them before. But they had a pretty good high peak. I don't know what year, where they actually had games and stuff. They call them bouts.
Wow.
With at like Riviera Hotel and South Coast.
Okay.
South Point. Sorry.
I don't know anything about that sport. Can you tell me what happens? Other than the fact I just see, honestly, I just see it like wrestling where the people are just beating each other up, right?
Well,
how much of that is like fake and how much of it is like without exposing anyone and pissing anybody off, but how much how does that industry work or that sport work?
It's so hard to describe it to people because that's the first thing they think about it, but they have called it football on roller skates. So it's a full contact sport. Okay. There's 2 jammers.
What's a jammer?
They're the point. How do you say it? It's on a point scale. So it's 2 opposing roller skaters on a flat track or a bank track, but we played flat track roller derby. So it's just a flat surface track.
Okay. In a circle.
In a circle.
How big is this circle?
It's kind of like an oval shape. Kind of. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how big it is as far as diameter.
Like 1,200 square feet?
Oh gosh, I'm horrible.
Like this, as big as this house?
Bigger, a little bit bigger.
Okay, so that's a big track.
Actually, you know what? Probably as big as this house.
Yeah. So it's like a track and field track. Yes. A little bit, maybe smaller.
A little bit smaller than a
Okay, cool. That's a good reference.
So
what happened? Are you racing?
You're basically racing for points.
Oh, okay.
But there's
laps.
Rules.
Okay.
Laps around. So they're 2-minute rounds. And if you can imagine doing anything for 2 minutes.
Sure.
Even if you think
that's a sprint for sure.
Roller skating just alone for 2 minutes. It's a pretty good workout. But those 2 jammers going against each other for points are being blocked by 4 blockers on the opposite team.
Ridiculous.
Now, blocking, you can imagine it's 1 against 4. And so you're trying to get the 1 against 4 blockers and continuously making rounds.
How are they? What do you mean? Are they blocking it? Are they also riding us alongside them, or they're going right in front of them?
Good question. So they have to keep going.
Okay.
So it's I don't know how you call that. It's an ongoing.
Like you can't stop.
There's no stopping, and there's no pushing back.
So 2 minutes, they're like going forward.
Continuously forward. Mm-hmm.
And the blockers are also, are they be running behind them, or are they like running in front of them?
In front of them most of the
So
time.
those blockers are running opposite?
So they can't go back. You can't push the jammers back.
Okay.
It's continuously going forward.
Okay.
In the forward motion. And
Oh, I see. Okay.
God, I hope I'm saying it's been a while, so I hope I'm saying
That's
the
okay.
rules right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just as it's almost, if I could show you, like the jammers going forward, pushing through them, and they're just trying to stop them to let enough time for their jammer to get through the other blockers to make points. So again,
Yeah, it's like
points,
football.
yeah.
You're trying to get to the end zone. Is that what it's called?
Pretty much.
The end zone.
And you
So what are they just able to, like, what are the rules as far as like the stopping part? Like,
yeah. So there's a lot of rules.
Yeah.
And many times anybody who doesn't understand the game, who watches it, I have no idea what's
Sure,
going
yeah.
on. It is really hard. It was so hard. It took me the longest time to understand the game, and I still feel like there are things I don't understand. But you can, legally, from shoulder to knee, check a teammate. Mm-hmm. You know, check the
so
opposite
you're able to
team.
use that part of your body?
So you
Gotcha.
can hit.
Yep.
Exactly. So like literally, like you don't want to shove them with your shoulder completely, but if you hit them like this,
Yep.
all the way down to the knee,
But the shoulder has to be down. You can't elbow. Can you elbow?
an elbow.
Yeah, because like that's illegal in like most sports actually, because it's such a,
Yeah.
it's like a hammer basically hitting you. So that's illegal. You have to, it's very like shoulders
very-
down. Gotcha.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, people get pretty rough and like check you really hard.
They try to like,
that way. And I mean, you know,
no kicking,
no kicking,
no tripping. You can't trip, right?
You cannot trip. No.
Yeah, you can see that, very dangerous. Wow.
Again, so many more rules
Sure.
to that, but
Yep.
like just to give you an example, that's a way where you can.
Are you
hit.
wearing mouth guards?
You're wearing mouth guards.
Okay.
So from head to toe, because it is full contact, you need to be geared up: helmet, mouth guard, wrist guards, elbow guards, knee pads, skates.
And you did this voluntarily?
Voluntarily. Oh my God. Okay, let me tell you. What I
It makes me
found,
sweat just thinking about it. It just sounds so like crazy.
it's so funny because the people who I remember my fresh meet, they called us fresh meet when we first were starting to train for it. Before you move up to the next level and you can play, you practice and you move up. And my team, if I'm not mistaken, I have a picture of it I should show you. It's like 20 something girls that showed up to join.
Okay.
At the end of my group, it was 4 of us.
Oh, wow.
That made
Yeah,
it.
because just the screening process, they have to check. Wow.
Well, people don't like as soon you have to get over the
You mean people
falling.
just quit, or people just, oh, I see.
They think the falls are too hard, or some people do get injured,
You're right.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it is tough. But I remember going and seeing a game, and I was like, I want to be
You're
one
in
of
it.
those
I
girls.
want to get hit. You're like, I am ready to hit somebody.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I got
I
the
can
bug.
see that though. I remember like I took karate when I was a little kid.
Okay.
And I was a small little kid. And I remember the first day, this was in Long Beach, California. Like my Korean sensei was like, he barely spoke English and he would smack you on the leg with like
Ouch.
an empty oil. Do you know those oil jugs?
Like
That's
a
how he would
tin
discipline
tin can?
everybody. He would just smack you on like the leg if he wanted you to kick higher. And he's like, all right, you white belt. Like I was a white belt. And he's like, you, and in this huge, like, he was probably my age, but he was huge, like I was
Yeah.
10. He looked like he was 17 or something. Big dude. Like, and he was huge and thick. And I remember the first day going there, he made us spar. And you only had like a ball cup and a couple like shin guards. And I'm the small kid who knows nothing. And like the first thing he did was just kick me in the face. I like flew back. My mouth, we weren't wearing mouth guards. You don't wear mouth guards. I didn't have a helmet on.
Threw you to the wolves.
Yeah. Like just, that's how it was. It's just,
that's intense.
I mean, so like, I feel like it's different from roller skating, but still the same concept. You just go into it kind of just like, whatever, YOLO.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay, so you did that. Like, what made you kind of stop doing roller derby?
Oh, man. I hate to say that. I hate to admit it because there was 2 reasons. And this was before COVID. So,
oh, wow.
I did start dating someone, which kind of took up my time and took me away from the things that I liked doing. And I want to say it was all that, but that's stupid. I hate admitting that. But the second reason was eventually I did not want to really hurt myself.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
I was a pretty strong skater. I always like to say I had seasoned ankles because the girls were breaking their ankles all the time.
Oof,
and
breaking your ankles.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And
that's a rough one.
It is. And I saw my friends go through injuries and how hard that was. And I'm like,
your friend just face planted too. Like that's a pretty dangerous sport.
It is.
Yeah.
So with that said, because I did it voluntarily and, my family didn't like me playing the game, I said, well, if I'm not going to do roller derby anymore, I definitely want to start park skating.
Okay.
Because I could still roller skate,
Sure.
but I wouldn't have the, what is it called? They kind of made us go 3 times a week. So roller derby was intense. Voluntarily, 3 days a week, 2 hours a night of practice and games.
Yeah. You're an athlete, basically. You're trying to, it's like
I like to think of it that way.
It's a sport,
Yeah.
like you have to condition yourself. Like if you don't do that, you just, the next person is just going to be stronger, right?
Exactly. And
wow.
So it was really that. I mean, I wanted to be able to skate without having to skate.
Sure.
And without the possibility, I mean, I could get injured anytime now, but at least if it's me getting injured, it's because I'm skating by myself and not someone knocking me on my ass.
And so park skating, that's huge now. Cause I think you were doing this long before COVID hit, but like I remember going into COVID and then a ton of my friends now are skating. I feel like that, I mean, that's probably really good for the sport because it gets exposure, right? So, talk about that. Like that's a whole little subculture in itself, right?
Yes. So I was looking online and I saw park skaters. There was only like a few, like maybe a handful of girls that I would see at the skate parks. I didn't know who they were. 2 of my friends were past roller derby on my team, girlfriends that I knew. Mm-hmm. And I knew that they had gone to park skating. So I said, interesting. I go, let me go check it out and see. And just like roller derby, I wanted to learn it so bad that I didn't care if I went to the park and I fell and I got embarrassed and it looked stupid.
Yeah.
I'm like, get up and just keep doing it. It was kind of like the gym.
I
started with
and park skating is a little different because it's got like ramps and like bowls. It's like an empty bowl. That's what they're called, bowls.
Yeah.
All right. And Vegas has surprisingly a lot of those.
Yeah.
Which is when I moved out here, I'm like, man, this is like a skater's, like skateboarder's dream.
Yeah.
People scoot, people have BMX bikes.
Yep.
And there's, roller skating and roller bladers and stuff.
Yep.
Like it's a pretty big, there's a lot of options basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny enough, like I said, had I known this earlier in life, like I would have, I would have been skating, younger in life. But, I found it later where I enjoyed it more. But yeah, it was pretty much that park hopping, getting to know, the ins and the outs of park skating. I found Nena Skate Club.
Cool. What is that? I see you post that.
Which are the handful of girls that I would see at the skate park. I got to know them. One of them came over and talked to me, and one person led to the next, led to my friends who had ramps in their backyard, led to the whole community, led to COVID happening, and everybody started skating, picking up skating because there was nothing to do. So it was really neat to see.
In a span of 2 years too, it just kind of blew up because I met you before COVID and you were already doing this, right? And kind of talked about that stuff. And then COVID hit And I think we even skated the empty strip, and that was kind of fun, right? Like I
Yeah.
shot you and my cousin, who was a rollerblader.
Yeah.
And then it just like, again, a year took off, and I just see my feed full of like roller skating. Yeah. And there's like all these variations of it. There's like dancing, like skating.
Jam skating.
Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So rhythm skating, jam skating, there's so many aspects of it. Bowl skating, park skating, ramp skating, roller derby. Like it's
Wow.
like.
That's awesome.
rink
I'm learning a lot.
skating.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is there, oh man, I sound stupid. Is there like hockey skating? Like
Roller hockey.
roller hockey? I don't know anything about sports.
So I'm not too into ice hockey, but
Yeah.
yes, I haven't seen it.
Yep.
But I've heard of roller hockey. There's also what do they call it? Speed skating. So I don't see much of roller
yeah.
hockey or speed skating, but there's also that.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Now, are the bladers and the skaters like still on the same? Are they? I know rollerblading is its own subculture, and they're like, we do our own thing. I know it because I've seen it. They're almost the outcasts of the outcasts. So
funny you say that.
is that like? Are they friendly? Like when you see, what do you call the term? 4 wheels and 2 wheels. What do you call it?
Quads and inlines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they play nice now?
You know, it's funny because I don't want to take credit for this, but I always hear that there's like beef with the bladers and they always get like the shit end of the stick or from skateboarders. And I'm like, I don't hear this because I just go and I skate by myself or I skate with my little group.
When I shot you guys at the park, everybody seemed like they were playing nice, by the way.
Yeah.
So I didn't see any of that either.
It's a very good community. I don't know. I don't get too close to anyone because I kind of stick to myself or my own.
Yeah.
But because what piqued my interest, one of my friends had mentioned, he's like, ramps were made for inlines.
Oh, okay.
And that was his opinion. I don't know how true that is, but I never had an interest in inlines because, I switched from quads to inlines recently.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So from 4 wheels to a straight 4 wheel. Are they also 4 wheels? Quads or inlines? How many wheels are
inlines are? So it's an inline of 4 wheels, or you have the quads of the 4 wheels.
Yeah, break down the sort of that process. Like,
I can only speak for myself.
Yep.
But
let's go.
So one of my friends who has the ramp in the backyard where we would go during COVID, we were there every Friday, like just hanging out. It was like Disneyland for the skaters.
Which is another question I need to figure out after this. It's like, how do you build a ramp in your backyard and not have your neighbors yell at you?
I don't know, but I'm so glad they did.
I just imagine being the neighbor in next door, and because I'm super sensitive to sound, like if a dog barks like far away, I'm just like, I can't sleep. I just imagine like,
isn't that funny?
Yes, fuck. Oh, yeah, like when you're trying to land a trick, it's just like you pissed and yelling at
That's so funny.
All right, yeah. So like, okay, so how do you transition from like roller skates to roller blades?
Yeah, the best thing that's ever happened to me. I remember being on my skates, and you have to realize, like, for girls, it's like, oh my gosh, we get to change the laces, the wheels, we get the light up wheels, we could get different toe stops. There's so many things to a roller skate that cost so much money. And coming from my friends were like, inlines, you buy a good pair of $200 inlines, you don't need to do anything they'll last you forever.
Oh.
I looked at roller skates or roller blades.
Because I didn't realize that there was more maintenance on the roller skate.
Oh yeah, there's just so much more.
Because they're just built differently.
Yeah, and they're more girly. I mean, there's guys that have are on quads that do the jam skating, the dance skating, all that stuff. But I mean, for girls, it's so much more fun because we're so accessorized.
Is it because like the actual the design of it hasn't changed very much since like back in the day, and roller skating is a new sort of design? I don't want to say new, but newer design. Like,
I think it's just there's so many more components to it.
Oh,
it's like when
gotcha.
I break down a roller skate, it's a boot with the plate, with the trucks.
Sure.
You could do wide trucks, thin, not wide trucks or whatever you call it, narrow trucks. You could do the wheels, the laces, the toe
Gotcha.
stops. So there's so many different components. You can put the slide blocks on them. I don't know everything about blades because I only have one pair and I recently changed to them, but it's really just like the insert part of the boot, the shell of the boot, and the wheels. I'm sure there's more parts to it, but I'm still learning.
It's just less maintenance.
It's less maintenance, more simple.
How much do those things go for?
Which ones?
Like both. Like just compare like
Gosh.
$500?
Skates are expensive.
No.
Yeah, and I've owned a lot of pairs, and I've probably spent the most on a pair of roller skates, about $1,000. And that's like putting everything I wanted, like the top plate, the wheels, everything to
and
it.
that's a good brand though. That's a good skate.
That's a good
1,000. And then like what's like the starter ones?
Well, all in roller derby, because they'll tell you need the good skates,
For sure.
the expensive ones. But I remember starting off with just a $200 pair.
Okay, so they go up to 200 to 1,000.
Yeah.
And like, what do rollerblades cost?
And my blades costed me about $300.
Okay,
And
that sounds reasonable though. Like I see like a good pair of like Nikes for $100-$120.
yeah,
and those are just running
$150.
shoes, and yeah, that makes sense. Wow.
Yeah.
So like, okay, so then how did you find that transition? Like, what was the difference between? Let's go back to the roller skating and roller blading. Like, did you have to change your like stance, your style? Like, what's the difference? Break down sort of the difference between the two.
So when I used to look at rollerblades, I thought they were so ugly. That was my first thought. I'm like, I have no interest in that. I'll never be a rollerblader. I thought this. And so it's just funny that my friends who we would go skate their ramps, they were all inliners.
Okay. Yep.
So I would look at them and they're like,
And these ramps are like those
vert
U-shaped,
ramps.
the vert ramps. Yeah. Okay.
I don't skate those, but the smaller ones, yeah. So long story short, I remember just one day saying, let me try on a pair. And my friend had a pair and I put them on and I said, wow. When I was young, I was a young kid. I started off in rollerblades, but I can't remember what that was like. So getting into them again, I tested them on the vert ramp, just kind of going back and forth. And I said, a couple months later, I told my friend who let me borrow them, I said, I'm going to buy myself a pair of inlines. I go, for my birthday, that's going to be my birthday present.
Cool.
And ever since then, I just try to transition into that. And the difference, big difference.
Okay.
I haven't gone back to my skates for a good reason. And that's because.
So you're like strictly like inline now?
I love it.
Oh,
I
awesome.
tell everyone, I was like, you go faster. It's smoother. It's scarier in a sense, until you get used to it. But I feel like the stability between inlines and quads. So quads, you're wider.
Okay.
But it's so much easier for all new skaters to like fall back on a quad.
Okay.
Because if you don't stay in a low stance, which I get this from roller derby.
Gotcha.
Everything is as low to the ground as you can. You have more stability on the sides on quads. On inlines, you have more stability where I'm not going to fall back because they're
Forward.
longer.
Okay, that makes sense.
If that makes sense.
I'm not sure I understand.
Oh, Siri doesn't understand.
Siri doesn't get
she
it.
Don't get it. Okay. I would think the opposite actually, because you're looking at, I'm on 2 things instead of 8 things. And it's the other way around. You're actually more balanced on a quad.
It's just different.
Okay.
I wouldn't say more or less on either. It's just like on a quad, you have more stability on the sides, what I think. And then on an inline, you have more stability front and back.
And then the braking is different too, right? Like, don't you have to like, on a traditional roller skate, the brakes is in the front. Am I right? It's like on the top of the
toe stop.
on the top of the toe, and then the roller blades are on the back. Is that right?
Well, the blades that I have and the ones that everybody that I skate with they don't have brakes.
They don't have brakes?
That's the hardest thing for me because I was literally the toe stop queen from roller derby to park skating in my quads. Everything I stopped on my toe stops. And I don't have brakes.
So how do you
on them.
stop? I'm
still learning. I fall.
Like, how do you stop going really fast though? Like if you're going downhill, how do you stop? Just like, it's probably like a fixed gear bike where there's no brakes, and you just kind of anticipate the momentum and kind of stop yourself, or you swerve to stop.
Yeah.
What do you call that? I don't know what you call this.
Like that hockey stop?
Yeah, the hockey stop, right? So is that how you stop?
I watch a lot of YouTube videos. They call it the pizza stop. There might be another name for it. But just kind of go
I see Jason do that. Yeah, where you put your toes together. And
yeah, Jason.
he used to do that, right? I see that. Okay, when I was editing the videos, I see his feet going like that.
Yeah. Or I always just like do a 180, spin around. They say not to do it because you'll mess up your wheels. We kind of do what we call in quads a T-stop. So you go on the side and like kind of drag your wheels.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
I'm still figuring it out because I hate that I don't have a toe stop on my blade.
And I think I'm calling this wrong because Rollerblade is a company, right? No?
I'm not the expert.
Okay, never mind. Because you're calling them quads or inlines or something. I think that's the proper term. Rollerblades are like, I think just the name, brand of like, Colgate and toothpaste,
Yeah, I don't even know what the right terms are. It's like roller
I'm sure
skates.
people will correct us.
Yeah, they'll be like, she's not saying it right. Whatever, rollerblades, roller skates, quads, inlines.
So you like rollerblades. So now you're full on rollerblades. Cool.
I love it. I did go back for a minute a couple of times when I went out with my girlfriend back on my roller skates, and I felt like I didn't know how to roller skate anymore. Yeah.
No, it's hard. I think feel like if you're going faster and you're doing things more efficient, it feels visually to me, it looks more efficient speed wise. That's what I see from an outsider. I don't know anything, and I'm just looking at it. It's just like, oh, it looks like they're just able to go a little faster, like hockey. Like it's like a thin little thing, and they're just going super fast. And I'm like, okay, I can see why you can go faster on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there's less traction, I feel like, on one of them. I think maybe it's the quads, right? Like, where there's more traction, whatever the term is, where there's more drag, I think.
It's all...
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
I can't even say, in the end, I couldn't say one is better than the other because I've tried both, and people ask me all the time. I love my blades, but I have so much respect for both.
For sure,
And I just love that I was able to get the best of both and learn. And I do the same tricks now. I do my tricks from the quads into my blades now. And it's just so neat to learn
and the community seems like it's growing, right? Do you see the community just expanding and just when you go out to these parks, which can be a sort of like a buzzkill and also a good thing because then the parks are crowded, right? So like I see you like 6 a.m. skating to get your I don't know your practice in. So do you see that community just getting bigger in Vegas? Are more parks getting built?
I hope so. Because
what's the best park right now?
Like you said, there's so many parks. I hope they build more, even though we have so many. I can't even pick a park, but yeah, everybody says Craig.
Okay, the one we went to. That big one. It's a big park. Yeah. And they got like sort of like big beginner stuff, beginner ramps, and also like really complicated ones, right? And you see what's cool about that community or that park is like we were hanging out and there was like 12-year-old kids and just doing everything. And there's a guy on his BMX. He looked like he was like my age, 45-ish, right? And just different walks of life doing it, which is kind of it's cool to see, right?
It's very like all ages. Multicultural, like, I don't know. You get the skate bug, anybody could get it.
And you skate like California too. I see you going to different. So what do you think is a better, I don't want to pin up this, compare like which one's better or not, but like, what do you see compared to like the California skate parks?
I want to go visit more. In California because there's.
Would you go to Venice Beach?
No, I want to go there so bad. I went to a skate park in Long Beach. On the way, like to California, stopping in Victorville. There was one. My mom lived in Azusa, so there was a couple of parks between Azusa and some other little small cities in there that I park hopped. Skating around the beach.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, that is cool. I remember taking my longboard out to the beach. It's kind of a cool feeling, right?
Just leisurely skating.
Something we don't have, but Yeah, that's a cool
So
feeling.
not comparing, but I just think it's so neat to just test out the different kinds, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It's like people go around testing golf courses around the country. Same thing.
Exactly.
Have you skated that abandoned water park in off the 15? What is that place called? Where it
So-
looks like it's like
Tagged up everywhere.
well, it just looks like the apocalypse. There's like an abandoned water park outside the 15 if you're trying to leave Vegas, and
Yes.
it's like graffitied out. It looks like a scene from a movie where like a villain would live. You know what I mean? Like he
all
would be
tagged up
like
and
yep,
everything, yeah.
it looks super scary. I don't know if there's like
Sketchy.
barbed wire. Have you been there?
So funny story. I tell this to people all the time. I haven't been there. My friends have been there. My dad used to because we would go back and forth between Vegas and California ever since we moved.
What
here.
is that place called?
It was called Lake Dolores.
Wow.
And I don't know how far back in time, but it actually was a functioning water park at some point.
Okay.
Now it is abandoned. And yes, I've had people that I know go out and skate there. My friends actually say, we're going to go there one time. We haven't made it out there yet. And just a few blocks before.
Like, is it open to the public?
I think so.
Okay,
I
so
think
you're
you just
able
go
to
in
just
there.
go there. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
take
not like
pictures.
interesting.
I think it's
I gotta
just
go
like
out there.
a
Yeah.
tourist place now. You know?
Okay.
But
Who owns that place?
I have no idea.
Huh. I would think you would know because you're like you
all I
look on the
know-
MLS or something and see who owns that place.
All
Yeah.
I know is that I wish my dad would have taken me there. Like, thanks, Dad. We never went to the park.
Oh, to the water park,
To the
right?
water
Yeah.
park.
Yeah, it's such a random place. It looks cool. Like I definitely want to fly a drone over it and just kind of see
Scenic
it.
film
Yeah.
for photos and stuff would be awesome.
Yeah. Vegas has all those random places. There's like that ghost town, abandoned Nelson ghost town, and all
Yep.
that stuff. Very weird.
The Six Magic, or is it the Six Magic Mountains?
Yeah, that one's. I'm not really. I mean, that looks okay. To me. I don't really want to go to that. I just say it's just painted rocks. I'm just like,
Like, what's the big deal?
I don't
about
care.
These tall rocks.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, the last thing I want to touch on is like your cool uncle, Rico Suave, that you're wearing his T-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to people who know him. It's so funny because when somebody brings it up and I'll be like, hey, by the way, this is my uncle. And if they don't know him, I'm like,
Rico Suave.
if they do, it's so cool to like reminisce about
Rico
it.
Suave had this huge hit in the 90s, like top 7, top 6 Billboard. Like he was like on the charts. You couldn't turn on the radio without hearing that song, which is awesome. And you posted something like, I thought it was a joke actually. You were wearing his T-shirt on Instagram and I'm like, wait, your last name is the same as his. You're
Yep.
not lying. So
Yeah.
were you like aware of his success at that age? Like, no,
No.
you weren't. Didn't you have MTV or anything?
Let's see, because I'm more. Oh gosh, I don't even want to say it. How old I
You
was?
don't have to say it.
I believe it was 92 or 93.
21.
I was just a little kid, so
Yeah.
no, I didn't know anything about it until like way later, in
Yeah,
life. But
yeah.
I was actually on the set of the Rico Suave video with my family. My grandpa was in the video.
As a kid, you're in the video
I'm not in the video, but I was on
on the set.
with
Oh,
him, yeah.
very cool.
So, but my grandpa was in it, so my uncle's dad.
So, and you're pretty close to your uncle, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you go out and visit him, and how did he get into like the coffee? Which is kind of, to me, that's more interesting than that part. He actually sells like his own brew, which is cool. Like,
Yeah.
how does that happen? Like,
Well, I think
you have to get into it too much, but like, I'm just curious because the coffee's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I just think it's cool because
Yeah.
I always had this like thought in the back of my mind, like it would be a dream to own a coffee shop. Like that was just me. And
I like that dream. That's a pretty good dream. My stepdad wants to own a coffee shop. That's a cool dream. Yeah.
And even though there's so many, I mean, it's such a neat, I love spending my time at coffee shops. You know, that's what I do. I like coffee shop hop. Another thing I love to do here in Vegas. And, so my uncle, I mean, just given anybody famous from like another country, you know, a Hispanic country, my uncle gets so much love in Ecuador
Sure,
still.
yeah.
Like his legacy.
Is that where you guys are from
That's where
originally?
my dad's side of the family.
Okay,
from.
cool.
So full Ecuadorian on my dad's side, and there's still like so much love for my uncle over there because he will always be the Rico Suave
Yeah.
from Ecuador that made it out here with his song.
For sure.
So I think, I don't know.
And how is the coffee doing? It's like, it's got a huge following, right? Like I see videos from it, and like he's got his own little fan base. And
yes, they're making it over there in Ecuador, and
they grow the beans and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's super cool.
I don't know all the details, but there's one where they call it the headquarters, and then I think they're coming out with another one from the Galapagos, which is a dream for me to visit one day. But
is that with the big turtles? Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I want to go there one day. So it's doing pretty good, and the big news of it getting sold on Amazon was a huge step. So I don't know. Will it turn into its own coffee shop in the future? Maybe. Or will it be sold in just, everywhere? It's sold in, I believe, markets over there in Ecuador. Like, hopefully it gets more exposure so it could get sold.
Yeah,
places.
It's good. I tried it. Like you posted something. I'm like, I need to try this. I'm a coffee guy. I'm into it.
And that Rico Suave shirt, it's the last one standing. It's my favorite shirt. So yeah, I always represent.
Yeah, nice.
Keeping it going.
Well, so awesome to have you. Thank you for hanging out.
This was fun.
It was fun, right? Yeah.
I always tell people I love Vegas. I love real estate. I love roller skating. So, to talk about it is just fun. Talk about my passions.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right. We have, where can they find you? Do you promote anything?
Where can they find me?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Do you promote your Instagram or anything at all?
So I have a nerdy skategram. I made it just to, put all my skate stuff on it. But I really just do it for fun and for my own entertainment with my friends. But yeah, you can find me on there. It's
you want to say it? Yeah, why not? Because if it's audio, then they probably want to just hear it too.
Okay, I say this all the time. In roller derby, we have roller derby names. So
I didn't know that, but sure.
Yeah. So
XXO skate lady.
So it's kind of corny. It's actually really corny and cheesy. But so my skate name was Daddy's Little Hurl, and it was just like a pun off of Daddy's Little Girl. And I really wish that I had chosen Misbehavin', because that's what my skategram is. It's Miss, B, and then Haven. So that's my skategram name.
All right.
I just kind of go.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. That's it for Richelle Mejia, the awesome skater, realtor, badass, foodie. You got to tell me some like food